applied for Coast Guard certification, unable to attain due to Subchapter T regulations. Attained oceanographic research vessel designation and conducted dive operations in Puget Sound, Miami, and San Francisco. Glancing to the right side are promotional images created by OceanGate for early dive operations. 2013. Purchased a 5-person, 22-foot submersible with a 500-meter capability. Cyclops 1 was utilized as a test platform for software, technology, and equipment for Titan. Never applied for inspection from the U.S. Coast Guard. Obtained oceanographic research vessel designation from the Coast Guard Sector Puget Sound in 2018. Conducted domestic operations from 2015. The Andrea Doria mission in 2016 departed Boston, towed to the dive site off Nantucket Island, charged mission specialist $20,000 for a seat on the submersible. The Hudson Canyon mission in 2020 departed New York, towed by an offshore supply vessel. Mission specialist paid $35,000 for the dives. Completed 17 major expeditions with Antipodes and Cyclops 1. The image displayed on this slide is a side profile diagram of the 1/3 scale model for the Titan prototype for the test conducted in December of 2015. In 2013, entered contract with University of Washington Applied Physics Lab for approximately $5 million for the development, construction, and testing of a manned carbon fiber submersible. Estimated time frame for the vehicle, Titan, was 30 months. 2015 to 2016, the 1/3 scale model testing. In December of 2015, that model failed at 2,943 meters. In March 2016, the 1/3 scale model failed at 2,753 meters. In July of 2016, the model failed at 4,465 meters. In 2017, the carbon fiber hull was completed by Spencer Composites with no Coast Guard or Classification Society oversight. There was no non-destructive testing conducted on the hull. The original plan was to utilize carbon fiber domes, but due to the failures in the 1/3 scale model, cited in the above image, they then switched to titanium domes and rings, which were manufactured by TIFAB with no Coast Guard or classification oversight. The image on the slide is an overhead view of the Titan prototype, which was taken during the unmanned testing in the Bahamas in June of 2018. In March 2017, OceanGate announces a trip to the Titanic. The price of an SME ticket is $105,129, the inflation-adjusted cost of a first-class ticket of the Titanic on its maiden voyage. In May of 2017, University of Washington Applied Physics Lab and OceanGate Engineering parted ways, and OceanGate took all engineering in-house. In July 2017, the carbon fiber hull and titanium rings were bonded together using an adhesive by OceanGate employees. In December of 2017, the final mechanical inspection report for the conical frustrum dome window was completed by the Hydrospace Group. January 2018, the Titan was fully assembled. February of 2018, the first manned dive in Titan to a depth of 3 meters. In April of 2018, the Titan arrives in the Bahamas, allegedly struck by lightning, delayed the scheduled test dives. OceanGate released a statement canceling the 2018 Titanic expedition due to weather. OceanGate was unable to achieve a depth of 4,000 meters for less than 45 days before the expedition. June 2018, 3 unmanned dives were conducted to 1,200 meters, 2,500 meters, and 4,000 meters. Titan prototype history, late 2018 to 2019. On this slide in the lower right corner is an image with an area of damage circled for the Titan prototype, and in the picture above that, the prototype on a trailer for transport for testing in the Bahamas. December 2018. Mr. Rush completed a solo dive in Titan to approximately 3,939 meters. April 2019. Completed a dive to 3,760 meters. Titan final hull, 2020. This image shows the winding of the carbon fiber hull at the Electro Impact Facility in 2020. NASA and OceanGate in contract with a Space Act grant for the development, manufacturing, and testing of manned submersibles. Due to COVID, NASA did not provide any services to OceanGate. OceanGate contracted a local Washington company, Electro Impact, to build 2 1/3 scale models and the new carbon fiber hull utilizing the automated fiber placement system. The full-size hull was cured after every few inches in an autoclave at Janicki Industries. Titanium domes and rings were removed from the prototype hull and used on the final hull. 16 strain gauges and 8 acoustics emission sensors were affixed to the inside of the hull to act as a real-time monitoring hull assessment. The outside of the hull was covered with a polyurethane coating prohibiting any visual inspections. There was no third-party oversight for the hull, and nor was any non-destructive testing conducted. Titan final hull, 2021. Pictured on the slide is the Titan at the Deep Ocean Test Facility in Maryland. March 2021. Completed Titan hull was tested at the Deep Ocean Test Facility in Maryland. The test cycles. Day 1, maximum depth of approximately 4,000 meters. 5,858 psi for 2 cycles, 30 minutes and 40 minutes. Day 2, max depth of approximately 4,200 meters. 6,154 psi for 1 20-minute cycle. Day 3, max depth of approximately 3,840 meters. 5,627 psi for 1 240-minute cycle. Day 4, maximum depth approximately 3,840 meters, 5,628 psi for 1 240-minute cycle. Operating depth of the Titan at the RMS Titanic site was 3,840 meters. Titan was tested to 1.09 times its operating pressure. The industry standard is 1.25 times twice every 5 years as per ASME for allowed materials. June 2021. Mobilized to St. John's, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, Canada, and began Expedition 1. The images on the right side of this slide show the various aspects of the launch and recovery system both on deck, on the surface of the sea, and underwater before launch and recovery of the Titan. The Launch and Recovery System, abbreviated as LARS, built by Everest Marine in 2017, completed in 2018. It is 38 feet long by 16 feet 6-inch beam and a 3-foot 8-inch depth. 4 separate hull compartments that can be manipulated to flood, which would sink the platform to approximately 10 meters below the surface to allow for the Titan to depart and/or arrive under the water's surface. Those compartments would then be filled with air from 4 air receivers on the LARS platform to raise the platform. This action is completed by the platform operator, who is stationed above in a small support vessel. This chart shows the position of the Port of St. John's and the site of the RMS Titanic, approximately 390 nautical miles south-southeast distant, and the position of the RMS Titanic site in latitude and longitude. The depth of the RMS Titanic wreck, 3,555 meters, or 11,007 feet. Titanic Expedition 2021. On this slide, you will note the motor vessel Horizon Arctic with the stern ramp to facilitate the carriage, launching, and recovering of the LARS with the Titan aboard. NOAA notified of operations pursuant to the expedition, and NOAA determined no Section 113 authorization was required. 2021 and 2022 utilized the Horizon Arctic Canadian flag offshore supply vessel. The mission departed from St. John's, Newfoundland. Titan and the platform were loaded on the stern ramp affixed to the vessel and transported to the Titanic wreck site, 370 nautical miles from Newfoundland. Each mission lasted approximately 8 days, 2 days transit time, 4 days of dives, and 2 days of return. The 2021 expedition, June 28th to August 6th, 10 dives attempted, 6 successful to the Titanic depth, 3,840 meters. Conducted 1 test dive, dive number 63, to the depth of the Titanic, 3,840 meters, before carrying paying passengers, mission specialists. There were 70 equipment issues required correction, including the forward dome fell off during recovery, multiple drop weights issues to include the tray being jettisoned due to malfunction, drop weight and thruster failure at 3,500 meters, and platform damaged on recovery. Departed Canada via flatbed trailer, conducted 4-month roadshow to market Titanic expeditions, going to the University of Rhode Island, Atlanta, Georgia, Lake Forest, Illinois, and Los Angeles, California. Titanic Expedition 2022. Turning your attention to the upper right image, Titan is indicated by the red arrow in the winter storage of 2022 to 2023. In the lower right image, the Titan in the process of being transported to the Marine Institute of Memorial University, St. John's, Newfoundland, in February of 2023. The 2022 expedition, June 14th to July 25th, 13 dives attempted, 7 successful to the Titanic depth of 3,840 meters. Conducted 1 test dive to 7 meters with passengers prior to diving to depth. 48 equipment issues documented during the expedition. Major incidents include batteries died on Titan, extending the time inside Titan to 27 hours, platform damage during recovery, Titan aft fairing torn off, data voyage logger inoperative below 500 meters, Titan damage during recovery, drop weight malfunction, thrusters mapped in reverse. Upon completion of the expedition, Titan was stored at a shoreside facility in a parking lot along a dock without protection from the elements, uncovered, from July 26, 2022 to February 6, 2023. The St. John's Airport weather data for July 2022 through April 2023, high temperature 84 degree Fahrenheit, low temperature 1.4 degree, average temperature 39 degrees. This graphic depicts the depths of the Titan dives conducted by OceanGate. The red columns reflect dives that were not conducted over the Titanic wreck site. The blue columns reflect the dives attempted on the Titanic wreck site that did not make it to the depth of the Titanic. The green columns reflect dives that were conducted on the Titanic wreck site and reached the Titanic depth. The 2023 Titanic expedition. Looking at the upper right in this slide, the Polar Prince near the dock. Looking to the lower right is the track of the 2023 expedition showing the movement of the support vessel Polar Prince. And in the lower left is the Polar Prince towing the Lars with the Titan on deck. According to witness testimony, due to high charter rates and non-availability of support vessels based on the increase in offshore oil production, the 2023 expedition utilized the motor vessel Polar Prince, a Canadian flag research vessel. Due to the lack of deck space, launching appliances, and weight handling equipment, the Lars Titan were to be towed behind the Polar Prince for the entirety of each mission. Missions 1 through 4, which began on May 12th, transited a total of approximately 3,600 nautical miles with Titan in tow, completed 4 dives, none of which left the platform below 10 meters when it was in a submerged position. Significant events, Titanic Expedition 2023. In the upper right is an image of the Titan on the Lars platform on the morning of May 24, 2023, when it partially sank. On the right, circled in red, is the weather at the time of that incident. Mission number 1, May 11th through May 19th. Polar Prince departed on May 11th to Conception Bay to rendezvous with the Titan, which was at the Marine Institute Holyrood launch, to conduct familiarization training. No mission specialists were aboard, no dives completed. Mission number 2, May 20th through May 28th. Polar Prince departed St. John's on May 20th en route Titanic with Titan in tow and an average speed of 7.4 knots. On May 22nd, conducted unmanned dive to 8 meters. This was dive number 84. On May 24th, after a night of high seas and fog, the Titan and its Lars platform were found partially sunk in the morning with the tail cone fairing ripped off. May 27th, conducted post-incident test dive, recorded 13 equipment issues requiring correction. Mission 3, May 29th to June 9th. Polar Prince departed St. John on May 29th and proceeded to Witless Bay to continue checks from the May 24th incident. Completed dives on May 30th, which were not logged, and May 31st, which was dive 85, completed to 10 meters. On June 5th, completed dive 86 with 3 mission specialists. Mission 4, June 7th to June 15th. Polar Prince departed St. John's on June 7th. Due to weather at the Titanic site, the Polar Prince transited 400 nautical miles to the northwest of the Titanic site. On June 11th, while conducting dive number 87, Titan experienced a variable ballast tank issue. Upon resurfacing, an error caused the platform to become inverted approximately 45 degrees, with the bow of the Titan up, slamming all 4 persons to the aft of the submersible. The Titan became partially disconnected from the Lars platform, with the approximate 6-foot gap slammed the submersible and the occupants for approximately 1 hour until the platform issue was corrected. (2023) Titanic expedition. On the right is the track of the Polar Prince to the RMS Titanic dive location. On the lower left is an image of the Polar Prince towing the Lars with the Titan aboard out of the harbor in St. John's. Mission 5, June 16th. Polar Prince departed St. John's at 9:31 a.m. local Newfoundland Daylight Time, 2.5 hours behind Universal Coordinated Time, with 42 total persons on board, 17 crew, 24 clients, and 1 non-designated person, en route to the Titanic wreck site. The 17 crew consisted of the Polar Prince crew members. The 24 clients consisted of 7 OceanGate employees, 11 third-party contractors, 4 mission specialists, and 2 mission specialist companions. According to the Polar Prince deck logbook, after departing the harbor, the tow was set to 2,500 meters astern of that vessel. June 17th. The day was spent with an all-hands meeting, training, lunch, presentations, and more training, dinner, and a dive plan review that evening. (2023) Titanic expedition. At the right is the C20088 dive plan for Mission 5, showing the time for various events. Mission 5, June 18th at 5:15 a.m. local time. The Polar Prince arrived in the vicinity of the Titanic wreck site location, and according to their logbook, they shortened the tow line. The average speed throughout the transit of the Polar Prince with the Titan and Lars in tow was approximately 8.3 knots. At 5:30 a.m. local time, according to the Titan dive plan C20088, a 15-minute final dive brief was held in the helicopter hangar. The final risk index for dive 88 was calculated to be 35. The image on the left shows the weather on the expedition. The simplified weather was as follows. The on-scene weather in the vicinity of the Titanic wreck site on the accident day was southwest winds at 13 to 19 knots, with a 2 to 3 meter wave height. (2023) Titanic expedition, June 18th, 2023 continues. Mission 5. At 5:48 a.m. local time, the accommodation ladder had been placed over the side of the vessel. An accommodation ladder is a set of stairs used for transitioning from a vessel to another vessel or dock. At 5:58 a.m. local time, a 16-foot C-Max rigid hull inflatable boat was launched, which was crewed by the dinghy captain, diver number 1, diver number 2, and dive support. At 6:24 a.m. local, another rigid hull inflatable boat was launched and transited to the Lars platform. This was the same type of vessel as the other and was crewed by the dinghy captain, platform operator, and platform assistant. At approximately 6:30 a.m. local, the divers commenced their dive and Titan vessel checks commenced. At approximately 7:35 a.m. local, one of the rigid hull inflatable boats was loaded with the Dive 88 crew to transcend 2023 Titanic expedition, June 18, 2023, Mission 5. At 5:48 a.m. local, the accommodation inflatable boats was loaded with the Dive 88 crew to transcend 2023 Titanic expedition, June 18, 2023, Mission 5. At 5:48 a.m. local, the accommodation ladder had been placed over the side of the vessel. An accommodation ladder is a set of stairs used for transitioning from a vessel to another vessel or dock. At 5:58 a.m. local, a 16-foot C-Max rigid hull inflatable boat was launched, which was crewed by the dinghy captain, diver number 1. 24 a.m. local, another rigid hull inflatable boat was approximately 30 feet below the surface of the water. Mission 5, June 18, 2023 continues. At 9:14 a.m. local, according to the Polar Prince deck log, the Titan disengaged from the Lars platform, maneuvered away, and proceeded to dive with 5 persons aboard. At 9:18 and 16 seconds a.m. local, the Polar Prince sent a K communication to the Titan. According to the OceanGate communication sheet, K means comms check. The approximated depth of the Titan was 165 meters. 44 seconds later, the Titan requested a comms check with a communication of K to the Polar Prince. The Polar Prince received a ping from the Titan approximately every 5 to 10 seconds. Communications continued throughout the descent. There were no transmissions which indicated trouble or an emergency aboard the Titan. At 10:47:27 a.m. local, the Titan messaged dropped 2 WTS. The depth of the Titan was approximately 3,341 meters. This was the last message that was sent from the Titan. 6 seconds later, at 10:47:33 a.m. local, the Titan was pinged for the final time. The Titan's location was 41.73441 north, minus 49.9424 east. The depth of the Titan was 3,346 meters. At 10:49 and 50 seconds a.m. local, the Polar Prince sent a message to the Titan that stated, "Lost tracking." There was no response. The Polar Prince continued messaging the Titan 2 or 3 times per minute with no response. At 11:15 a.m. local, the master of the Polar Prince was advised that as of approximately 10:47 a.m., there was a loss of communication with Titan. According to the mission director, they followed the miscommunication protocol outlined in the OceanGate Health, Safety, and Environmental Manual. According to the mission director, in accordance with the OceanGate Health, Safety, and Environmental Procedures, and based upon the last known position of the Titan, and given the 2 meter per minute ascent rate, the Titan was expected to surface at approximately 3 p.m. local time. Mission 5, June 18, 2023 continues. When the Titan did not surface, OceanGate followed their health, safety, and environmental procedures, and the Polar Prince began a grid pattern surface search. The grid pattern search resulted in negative sightings. The master of the Polar Prince stated, at 18:27 or 6:27, Following a meeting in my cabin with, amongst others, OceanGate staff, I called the Joint Rescue Coordination Center in Halifax by sat phone, but communications with the Joint Rescue Coordination Center were shortly thereafter cut off. When I reestablished communication, I was informed by the Joint Rescue Coordination Center that the area of the Titanic wreck is under the search and rescue jurisdiction of the Rescue Coordination Center in Boston. At 7:10 p.m. local on June 18, 2023, in accordance with the OceanGate loss of communication protocol, after 3 hours of searching the surface with negative results, the Polar Prince contacted the Canadian Coast Guard, who referred them to the U.S. Coast Guard Rescue Coordination Center in Boston. Upon receiving the notification, the 1st Coast Guard District Command Center entered Distress Phase 4. On June 22, 2023, at 10:50 a.m. local time, the Pelagic Research Services 6000 remotely operated vehicle, which had been searching since arrival at the distress location, discovered the aft tail cone and other debris of the Titan on the seafloor after extensive searching. This discovery led to the conclusive evidence of the catastrophic loss of the submersible Titan and the death of all 5 crew members aboard. To the right is an image of some of the Titan wreckage on the seafloor. During the 2 recovery operations, presumed human remains were recovered from the Titan ocean floor site. The remains were recovered and respectfully transported to shore. The Air Force Medical Examiner System, located at Dover, Delaware, positively identified DNA profile for the 5 victims, and the Rhode Island Medical Examiner matched the DNA profiles to the victims and coordinated decedent affairs with the families. This concludes Coast Guard Exhibit 001, the hearing overview factual presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. I'd like to make one correction to the voiceover for the presentation. On slide 6, the OceanGate Foundation was the voiceover indicated that was a company under OceanGate, and there's just an associated organization. Also, there were some lost voiceover communications during the presentation. That exhibit will be posted on the Coast Guard's public site for review, if the public is interested in reviewing it in depth. At this time, we are going to show an animation that was created by Coast Guard auxiliarist Gary Markle. This animation was created using automatic identification system information from the Polar Prince, as well as telemetry data that was provided from the Titan submersible. It includes all of the text communications between the surface vessel and the Titan, which were the only means of communication during the dive. Lieutenant Steele? This concludes our animation recreation of the events. At this time, I'd like to take a 10-minute recess before we call our first witness, Mr. Tony Nissen. And so this hearing will reconvene at 9:40. Thank you.
Sure. So if you go out this door and go right, go through that first corridor, and then right on the left-hand side, you'll see the water fountains and right there.
Presentations that we need to listen to the audio?
Nope. This is all now just exhibits.